Hey everybody, it's Friday Spider Monkey, aka Mixed Germain here, and uh, today I wanted to bring you guys my new 40 card Rafael from season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters inspired Guardian deck. Rafael's not really one of my favorite characters. He's probably my least favorite of the three main Doma, swordsman, I guess. I actually like Alistair a lot more than him, and Valen even more than those guys. So, um, I actually kind of like darts more than him, to be honest. Even, but yeah, I do enjoy Raphael's dueling style though, and his duels against Yami Yugi are probably some of the best in the series. Even though I really don't like him as a character that much. Yeah, though, um, he does have one of my favorite monsters in the entire game, and I'm sure I've talked about her a little bit in one of my other videos. um, yeah. Anyway, let's get into the deck profile. Start out, we have two of my original waifu. As far as dual monsters go, Guardian Iatos. She is She actually matches the Dark Magician in terms of stats, except she has 100 less defense points than he does. Um, I really dig her whole Native American warrior aesthetic. I think it's pretty awesome. She kind of reminds me of I haven't played these games yet, but her design kind of reminds me of Riku from Final Fantasy. Yeah. Her attacks are really cool in the anime too. She has obviously her sword attack, but she also can breathe she can breathe fire too. And I think she might have one more attack. I'm not really sure, but yeah, she has a sword attack, and she can also breathe fire apparently for whatever reason. But I just think that's kind of cool. She's she has this cool eagle hat on and these huge fairy wings, and her hologram is also really tall in the first duel between Raphael and Yugi. She's she looks like she's at least 20 feet tall or something, which I'm not blaming. Yeah, Garuniatos is one of my favorite monsters in the entire game. She's a wind fairy, which is pretty cool. Her effect is if you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon her from your hand, which is key to Raphael's whole strategy. um, when she's equipped with an equip magic card, you can send one of those equip cards to the graveyard, then target up to 3 monsters in your opponent's graveyard, banish them, and if you do, she gains 500 attack for each monster banished by her effect until the end of the turn. Uh, this works really well with Celestial Sword Iatos. In the anime, with Celestial Sword, she could actually banish everything in the opponent's graveyard and gain all of those banished monsters' attack points. So, yeah, she reached 7,000 attack in the second duel, only to be taken down by Amulet Dragon. But in their first duel, she got up to 10,000 attack points. that like totally just like nuked Yugi's entire field, leading to that like classic scream. Yeah, I really like Garniato. She's like really pretty and uh, still one of my favorite female monsters in the entire game, even though like Princess Tsurugi has kind of usurped her in recent years. But yeah, I used to have this card actually in my Serenity Wheeler deck because why wouldn't I? I guess I could kind of see Serenity using her like in the future if she decided to like take dueling, like take up dueling more often. But yeah, I removed that card from my Serenity deck and actually like I didn't really substitute it with anything. I just put it in my like my deck kind of inspired by like Tia from Zatchbell that I have on my channel. So yeah, um, yeah, Guardianato's good with offense and defense. Honestly, she's a tiny bit like nerfed compared to her anime counterpart, but I do like her like, anime artwork a little bit better too. Honestly, yeah, yeah. Two Guardianatos, uh, two of her. I guess you could say her corrupted form, Guardian Dread type. I really don't like her at all. So I kind of debated not even including her because she's kind of creepy and she's like an evil Iatos, like a mummified Guardian Iatos, which is kind of creepy. um, what Guardian Dread Scythe can do though is she's a dark fiend, so she's like the complete opposite of Iatos in like every way almost. She can't be normal summoned or set. You can always special summon her for her own effect. Um, if Guardian Iatos is destroyed by battle card effects to the graveyard, you can special summon her from your hand. So her summoning is actually like really restrictive. I think like I'd kind of prefer if she was able to be summoned from the deck too, or graveyard, or banished zone, I guess. So yeah, if Guardianatos like leaves the field and you don't have Dread Stuff in your hand, you just kind of you're locked out of something, or it kind of just becomes like a dead card, I guess. Um, but when she is summoned, you can equip one Reaper's Dread Scythe from your deck to her. Also, she blocks you from normal or special summoning monsters. Uh, kind of reflecting Rafael's philosophy, I guess, of like after he summoned her, he really didn't like care about any other monsters. So, and if Dreadscythe is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon her again. That's not hard once per turn, so like you can just like, instantly revive her, like if you have cards in your hand for that turn, I guess. It's a dread save, same stats also as the Atos, so I don't know. I I don't really like Dread Scythe compared to Yatos. I guess she's kind of creepy. So yeah, I only put one of her, and just I guess the option is there. I guess still. Next we got uh, three Guardian Growl. Guardian Growl. His name is kind of weird to say. um, Growl has also 2,500 attack points. He's a 6-star though. He can only be normal summoned, flip summoned, or special summoned when Gravity X Growl is on your field. But it can be equipped like anything though. So I actually have a way to like make summoning these cards like a whole lot easier that are just restrictive to like their equip card being on the field. So I'll get to that in a bit. It works similarly, I guess, to backup guard. So I'll touch on that in a tiny bit. But Growl, um, if Growl is the only card in your hand, also you can special summon him without offering a tribute. And with the Seal of Orichalcos, his power, like, um, well, with Gravity X Growl, he can go up to like 3,000, and if you have the Seal out, his power goes up to 3,500. So I don't know, he can be a pretty nice like beater, I guess, even if you can't like special summon him. And it's pretty easy to get Gravity X out. So with like a few cards I have in this deck. So first we got probably my second favorite of all the Guardians, free Guardian Elma. Kind of the antithesis to Queen's Knight, I'd say. She's another wind fairy, which is pretty cool. Her stats are 1,300, 1,200. I just like her red hair, I guess, too. In the anime, she had her own like shield equip card, like I think it was called like Butterfly Shield. But sadly, that doesn't exist in like currently in the actual card game. So she can only be summoned if you control a face of Butterfly Dagger Alma. Um, when she's normal or special summoned, you can target one equip card of your graveyard and equip it to her. Unfortunately, like Reaper's Dread Safe doesn't work because it has like restrictions that only equip it to Guardian Dread Safe, but every other equip in this deck, I think, is actually available for her to use. So pretty nice. She's probably, I don't know, she's probably the best of the Guardians in this deck, just for being low level and her effect being pretty useful. She's not the main engine, though, to get the equip cards running, though, I have to say. Also, when she's summoned, you can only target one equip card, so that's kind of not the best. Next, we have Water Sea Serpent, which is interesting. I don't see many Sea Serpent monsters, actually. Garden KS, she has 1,800 defense points, only 1,000 attack points, though. Garden KS, what she can do is I actually really like her hair, even though she's kind of creepy in the anime, honestly. Like most of the Guardians, she can only be summoned if there's a lot of silence cast on the field, but you can like, set her if you want. I'd actually do that more often because she has such good defense points. She is unaffected by spell cards, which kind of sucks in a deck that's so like equip card heavy. Um, also, she just straight up can't be attacked by your opponent's monsters. Whether that creates a legendary fisherman thing or just prevents you from being attacked, period, if she's like the only monster on your field. I don't really know. I guess I would assume it just stops your opponent from attacking, period. Doesn't really. Yeah, none of these cards really say, I guess. Next we got. Um, I'll go into my main strategy in this deck a bit later, but next we got. Rafael didn't actually use this card, but I kind of like it, I guess, and it has like Butterfly Dagger Elma on it, so another wind monster with 1600 for each. This is Arsenal Summoner. He's a wind spellcaster. He has a flip effect, which is pretty cool. Um, you can select a card that includes Guardian in its name from your deck and add to your hand, but you can't select monsters that only have Guardian in their TCG name. So they have to kind of be consistent with the OCG, I guess, and those cards would be Celtic Guardian, Winged Dragon Guardian of the Fortress, Guardian of the Labyrinth, and this kind of hurts, I guess, the Reliable Guardian, which I really like that card. So, I don't actually have that card in this deck, but that kind of, I don't know, that kind of stinks, I guess. This card can actually be pretty good on the offense too, with 1600 attack. Under like the seal, he can get up to 2100, then even more with some of the equips in this deck. So he's not only useful for his flip effect, but yeah, he makes getting to the Guardians, especially Growl, Elma, and KS, a whole lot easier. Next we got the substitute for backup Gardna. I actually really like this card in this deck, even though it's kind of weird. 3 copies of Fairy Tale Rella. She has 1850 attack, which is pretty powerful. Only 1,000 defense points, but I don't know. Just keep her in attack mode, I guess. So yeah, she's not as strong in terms of defense as backup Gardna, but even if you lose one, also you have 2 others to help you out. Her effect is really nice with the Guardians. Neither player can target monsters on the field with spell cards or effects, except with this one. I assume since equip cards don't really like necessarily target, I guess. Uh, I assume that's uh, doesn't include equips, I guess. I'm just assuming there, but her main effect, though, um, also, I suppose if, like, your opponent has something that would target one of your Guardians, then, like, just to go back to her first effect, she can kind of save them by, like, taking the blow, I suppose. I don't know, really. So she's useful against cards like, say, Smashing Ground or Fissure, I guess. But her main effect and the main reason I put her in this deck is once per turn, you can discard 1 spell card and add 1 equipped spell card from your hand deck or graveyard. Or rather, you can equip 1 equipped spell card from your hand deck or graveyard to Fairy Tale Rella. but that equip card has to be returned to your hand during the end phase. So get out an equip card for like one turn. I guess just hope your opponent doesn't. I guess you could always hold back on the guardian you're trying to summon until you can like just get it out in your next turn if you have it in your hand, or just like maybe just equip it to Fairytale, like just like run over your opponent's monsters. But yeah, her effect is like really useful in like setting up your bigger plays with your guardians, even with the restriction of like by using her effect to get the equip cards, they're returned to your hand at the end of the turn. But I don't know if you can survive like the opponent's turn like in the middle of Fairytale Umbrella. Her effect is like really good, honestly. So I put her at 3 just to. So even if like one of her is destroyed, you can have 2 more, and I have a few ways to like get her back too if you really are struggling. But yeah, she's kind of the stand-in, a backup guard in this deck, and a bit more useful than backup guard, I feel. That's it for the monsters. This deck also has no trap cards. I was considering putting in the Cemetery Bomb just to have something a little similar to like Purity of the Cemetery, but I just decided against it and go like only spell cards in this deck. Rafael like did play like a few trap cards, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like a lot of his traps were like necessary to duplicate until we get maybe like Purity of the Cemetery. That's one I would definitely put in here. Um, First of the magic cards is one copy of Guardian Treasure. We have a unknown Guardian monster here. At least I don't know the identity of this monster, and I don't know, I really like the rainbow effect on this card. I guess it's kind of neat. It's only on her little sparkles. Anyway, what Guardian Treasure does though is uh, you activate it by discarding 5 cards. Then after that, you can draw 2 cards. Also, like every draw phase after that, you draw 2 cards instead of 1. So, in the anime, Raphael drew like pretty much perfectly with like every pair of cards he drew. So he always pretty much got the equip card with the guardian monster he needed. Equipped to backup guard, then summoned the guardian, and then used backup guard as effect to equip that guardian to its equip card. But yeah, that's kind of what I have Fairytale Rella in her for, and I don't expect to have the same level of luck as Raphael, but Guardian Treasure is a pretty nice card. And with Fairytale Rella's effect, it's pretty easy to, I don't know, not manipulate necessarily, but yeah. One copy of the Cirivora Calcos. I don't actually have exchange in this deck, so I won't be able to pull Raphael's whole thing they did against Yugi, but just one copy of the Sealener, just if I need it. It does block. I will say that I'm not too disappointed on the whole, like, um, you can't use, like, your magic trap card zones for extra monster zones if it's effect. But what I am kinda just whatever, like, I don't care for this effect, I guess. It blocks you from, like, special summoning from your extra deck, which for Rafael, that's no big deal. He doesn't have, like, any fusions or anything, but I originally was going to put this card in my, this Valen inspired deck that I'm working on, but I do have a few, like, extra deck monsters in there. I'm not going to reveal what those are, but they're, to me, they're fitting of his whole armor theme. And with the seal, I playing around the seal for that is more trouble than it's worth. To kind of make it pointless to use the seal in my Valen deck, so I went into here instead. um, I'll touch on that more if I ever do finish my Valen deck, though. Got 2 copies of Celestial Sword Iatos. Uh, the monster gains 500 attack, and if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Guardian Iatos you control, and it gains 500 attack for each banished monster. And that's not until the end of the turn either. It's like a permanent boost. So if you use the Iatos' effect even to, like, send this card to the graveyard, she's gonna get, like, majorly powerful. Still won't reach up to, say, like 10,000 points, I don't think, but yeah. 1 copy of Reaper's Scythe Dread Scythe can only be equipped to Gargant Dread Scythe, but Gargant Dread Scythe then gains 500 attack for each monster in either player, in, like, any player's graveyard, so a bit more powerful, I guess, than Celestial Sword Iatos, but like I said, I really don't care for Gargant Dread Scythe terribly. 2 Graviax Growl. It's not actually restrictive to Guardian Growl. Monsters your opponent controls can't change their battle positions, and the equipped monster gains 500 attack points. So, nice way to get, like, any Guardian a bit more power, but you probably want to use it with Growl himself, I guess. Uh, 2 Butterfly Dagger Alma. Yeah, I know this card is banned in the competitive play. I don't really care. Uh, Butterfly Dagger Alma increases the equipped monster's attack by 300. That's all I really care about with this card, I guess. Although being able to recycle it is helpful with Fairy Tale Rel's effect. And plus you need Butterfly Dagger Alma to get out Alma herself, so yeah. Um, 2 Rod of Silence cast. I like how most of the Guardians cards are, like, swords, and I don't know. I like Rod of Silence cast. I think the artwork is really pretty, though it's different, I suppose, than swords. uh, for offset's case, the equipment monster gains 500 defense points, and um, it negates other spell card effects that targets the equip monster and destroy them. So, yeah. Say if you equip this card with uh, I don't know, GermainAnime&Games, you can just save her from any spell cards and just destroy them on sight. So, Fairytale Rella does something pretty similar to this, but the equip, like, defense boost is probably what you mainly use this card for. And just get out. Cast, I guess. Next we got a card with um, many of their equipped spells on the artwork, I guess. It's 2 Power of the Guardians. Rafael did not actually use this card. But what this card does is, if an if an attack is declared involving the equipped monster, you can place 1 spell counter on this card, and for every spell counter on this card, the equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense, which is really nice. And if the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can remove a spell counter from your field instead. That's a really nice card. I'm actually contemplating putting this card in my Gecko Henna deck because of its emphasis on equip cards too, and gaining points. Yeah, 2 Power of the Guardians. Next we got the self-reviving, sort of deep-seated. This card is just badass artwork all around. The equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense, and when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can just place it back on top of your deck with no cost. So a bit weaker, but a bit better, I guess, than something like Malevolent Nuzzler, I guess, or like Axe of Despair. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Just get back anything you want. Like, if well, you have to have, I guess, like the equip cards if you want to get back like Growl, Elma, and Chaos. But yeah, still get back the Atos. Rella is like a really great option for this. 1 monster reincarnation. Once again, get back anything you need. There's a bit of, I guess, like finagling with getting out, like some of the guardians, obviously, but that's what Rella is for. 3 Swords of Revealing Light. Or not 3. What am I saying? 1 Swords of Revealing Light. Where I was just looking at the artwork and I saw 3 swords, so I got my mind just turned off for a second. I don't think Rafael actually used Swords of Revealing Light, but helps stall, I guess, if you really need it. 1 Fairy of the Spring. This card adds an equip card from your graveyard, but you can't activate it the turn you use Fairy of the Spring. So, Jaden used this card actually. It is with Jinzo, which is a pretty cool duel in my opinion. 1 copy of Arms Hole, another Jaden card. It's similar to a Fairy of the Spring, but you send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, then add 1 equipped spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and but you can't normal summon or set the turn you activate this card. So both these cards kind of come with their own restrictions, but next is one copy of Shell and Grave. I was also considering using a Book of Tayo with this deck, but I kind of just decided against it. And went with like Fairytale instead, to speed up the process of like getting the equips. The last card is just 2 copies of Shard of Greed. This card is really nice, helps with draw power, helps, I guess, get the right amount of cards in your hand for something like Guard of Treasure. So, yeah. And that's going to do it for my 40 card Rafael deck. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really not super like 100% confident in the build of this deck, but I feel like I did like the best I could, especially with Fairytale. I feel like she does help this deck a lot, and having like cards like Deep-Seated Hatred and just so many like spell cards, I feel like this deck is like a pretty powerful deck. I haven't tested it out yet, but um, hopefully I can bring you guys a duel with this deck soon, and yeah, I'll catch you later. Bye.